I've been greenkeeper for about 30 years now, just over 30 years. So I was playing football, happened to be out of work when I was about 17. The trainer said there's a job going at Brailsford Park Golf Club, went for the job, and ever since then I've been a greenkeeper. Started from the bottom and just work your way up and learn things as you go on from experienced head greenkeepers and take it from there. I use the Dennis Mowers FT because it's got interchangeable cassettes. Obviously you can do different jobs with it. It's got a scarifying unit, it's groomers, so you can interchange it, and it's cost effective because you're not having to buy 2 or 3 mowers to do different jobs. The one mower does the most. Mainly for the greens I use the Dennis Razor Ultra, and obviously with the Razor it's a good mower. It's got a groomer on it, change the height, so it's a brilliant mower, really sturdy and well made. As I say, they're easy to use if anything goes wrong, and they're really well made, as like I say, and they're just great machines. Well, one of the best features is the change of height of cut, because instead of having to undo bolts, get a measuring bar out and do that, once you've set it, you can turn the height of mower here, one click, it's like a quarter of a mil, so you know you can adjust it as you're going along. So as you're out on the course, instead of taking spanners with you, you can just click that. Brilliant, it changes the height of cut quite easily. The groomer does a great job. Obviously, you get seed heads, you can groom it, just take a little bit out, thins it out. If the greens are too thick, you can thin them out with the groomers. So it's a very adaptable machine, and obviously it helps the sward. It's great cut when it's for the greens. You can cut by hand. I always think it looks great cut by hand. Well, one of the biggest benefits is obviously with a hand mower you can get on the greens at any time you want, whether it's a bit wet, like say really dry. With a greens mower, just sit right on 3 wheels. You obviously get, if it's wet, you get wheel marks across it, which also can cause in time ribbing. Whereas with a hand mower, go on any time, decent cut, gives it a nice roll, and also the finish is always good. So what's one of the biggest benefits of having a hand mower? With this, it's a bit more controllable, I reckon, by hand rather than a greens mower. And also, you've only got one bed thing, where a greens mower you've got 3. And if one's slightly out, you can always tell it. With this, it's a bit more controllable. No hesitation whatsoever. They're great to work with, good staff. Yeah, I'd well recommend them.
The Dennis Razor and Razor Ultra have been designed specifically for the use of everyday golf greenkeepers on the greens and tees. The 2 models we've got here today are the Dennis Razor 22 inch and the Dennis Razor Ultra 22 inch. The only difference being is the tungsten tip groomer on the Razor Ultra, no groomer on the standard Razor. The machines themselves are both powered by a 4.5 horsepower Honda engine. Height of cut is adjusted on the front roller adjustment very simply by turning the locating wheels on the front forwards clockwise or anti-clockwise. This will change the height of cut by ½ mil per click. On the Razor Ultra, which has the groomer is independently adjusted height-wise separately to the cutting height, and you can also disengage the groomer at any point. If you wanted to cut the greens without the groomer, be disengaged and engaged. It comes standard with an 11 blade cylinder, both models. You can have it fitted with a 7 blade option for the tees. Bottom blade to cylinder adjusters are also very simple to get at. There's a locking nut on the inside, on cut off-cut, clockwise, anti-clockwise adjustment. Bottom blade will always adjust to the cylinder. Cylinder remains static. Bottom blade pivots. You can have drive wheels which are fitted to both models. You'll see the drive wheels, and one big advantage of these particular wheels are when they're removed from the machine, the whole drive wheel and stub axle comes away. The cap will then cover the hole to stop any dust entering into the drive system. Big advantage there is, of course, now you haven't got that long stub shaft sticking out of the mower if you want to get close into banks or into surrounding areas. Both machines are powered by friction plate clutches under here. There's two clutches, one powering the drive and one powering the cylinder, with a final V-belt, poly V-belt drive system underneath the cover here. You will see also there's two different forms of handlebar configuration. There's a standard T-bar handle, which in certain applications people prefer, solely down to personal preference. Now the T-bar is very, very simple to operate. It offers you a very easy turn point. If you've got a constriction to get in, you can very easily pull the machine back, turn the mower and drive off again. Whereas the standard loop handle, which is very common on greens machines, does allow the operator to pivot one-handed and come back onto the green in either direction, fitted out with a double dead man's handle so you can release one side or the other side. The cylinder engagement on both models is very easy, positioned at the very accessible point at the top here. Cylinder and groomer would now be engaged, and the throttle adjustment is on the other side. Starting the mower, you'll see at the front of the engine there's an on-off switch. This is bypassed to a on-off switch on the handlebar configuration underneath. This eliminates the operator having to go down to the front of the engine to turn the mower on and off. So very simply, turn the switch on from cold, fuel on, choke on, choke straight off. The mower is now ready to go. Likewise to switch off with the button.